What's going on, guys? This is your channel TFD coming back with another video, and it looks like Caitlin Clark's injury might be way worse than anybody could have ever imagined. For this one, we've got to head straight to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has been out for over a month, missing her 11th straight game after sustaining a right groin injury during a win over the Connecticut Sun on July 15th. This isn't her first injury this season. She's already had issues with both quads and both sides of her groin, making this a brutal stretch for the 23-year-old rookie sensation. Coach Stephanie White just talked to ESPN about Clark's status, and honestly, it still looks up in the air. Clark has started some full-court running, but still hasn't been cleared to return to practice. White said, "We're putting no timetable on it. It's day-to-day right now. The most important thing for us is Caitlin's long-term health and getting her back to 100% before we put her back on the floor." I know a lot of fans have felt the fever and the league were being vague about her status, but it's clear now the team is slow playing it. Clark herself admitted in an interview that it's been frustrating. "I've never really dealt with injury, and that's probably been a challenge in itself. I didn't know if I was just tight getting old, or if it was something more." Some media expected her back around August 12th, but now, even that's in question, since she's not even practicing with the team. There are only about 4 weeks left in the regular season, and some analysts and doctors are saying that with groin strains, sometimes even shutting things down for a couple weeks isn't enough. These injuries are tricky and can reoccur with just one wrong move. I'm here to tell you, things are looking real spooky out there in Indy right now. We all know they've been kind of tiptoeing around the real details of Caitlin Clark's injury. And trust me, I've been following this situation closely. Something just hasn't been adding up. Now, just a few hours ago, ESPN held a press conference that finally started peeling back the curtain a little bit. They broke their silence, shared some new details that the public didn't know yet, and honestly, it changes how we might be looking at this whole thing. According to Alexa over at ESPN, she sat down and gave her perspective on what's really going on. Now, I don't know how much of this is 100% fact, but if it's coming from ESPN, I'm going to say there's at least an 80% chance we're hearing some truth here.
NBA insider Alexa Philippou. Alexa, the Fever have avoided setting an exact return date for Caitlin Clark. What do we know about her progress?
Yeah, Vanessa, we know that Caitlin Clark has done some full court running over the last week or two, and the update as of Monday is that she was able to add more in that regard and doing that full court running as she works to build her endurance after not doing anything for so long. But she has still not returned to practice. She has still not returned to any sort of team activities yet. And I think with her being out for so long at this point, you also have to expect that the ramp-up period for her to get back on the court is going to take longer as well. And so for the Fever, there's been 11 games that Caitlin Clark has missed since that July 15th injury. They have 11 regular season games left before the playoffs, so some time, but not a ton of time to get her back incorporated, and they've stayed consistent that they are not putting a timetable out there in terms of when we could see her back on the floor.
Yeah, I know Fever fans want her back. The Fever, by the way, are getting pretty thin at guard with season-ending injuries to Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Shanae. At what point does Indy get anxious kind of about the return to Clark's lineup,
Yeah, I think they're probably getting a little nervous right now, but the good news is that we're sort of seeing a little bit of like the tiredness. I was at the Sparks game recently, and all the players were like, it's been a long season. Again, a record number, 44 games that they're having to play. And so you're seeing it wear on players and on teams. But the good thing is Kelsey Mitchell has been a straight-up bucket this entire year. She is an all-star. She is capable of consistently giving you 25 and playing the 1 and 2. And also, if we have the standings, here they are. I mean, this is the mosh posh. Is that what I call it? Mosh posh? In the middle of...
Now, real quick, that's something we already knew. But here's where it gets interesting. Word on the street is Caitlin Clark has been doing individual drills. She hasn't gone out there and scrimmaged with the team, hasn't been fully in those practice sessions. But from what I'm hearing, she's been working closely with physical trainer Keith Porter. They've got her running full speed, working through different drills, and trying to keep her conditioning up. But here's the thing. To my knowledge, no footage has been released of Caitlin Clark working out, and we've been waiting a long time to see it. You also have to keep in mind, when an organization doesn't show you something for this long, it usually means they're holding back for a reason. And that right there is what has a lot of people in Indy raising their eyebrows. So real quick here, let me check this out. Look at these standings. Insider Alexa, Yeah, that's what I'm going to call her, broke it down, and here's what we're looking at. As we can see right here, the Lynx, I believe they've already clinched their playoff berth, so they're locked in. The Liberty, sitting strong in second. The Dream, holding down that third spot. Now the Fever, man, they're all the way down here in 6th place. And with that loss they just took, plus the possibility that they might drop another one soon, I can honestly see them sliding to 7th or even 8th heading into the playoffs. That's not a good look, but hey, it is what it is. Now let's shift gears to the other big story tonight. So, this whole situation going on right now with Sophie Cunningham and her damn podcast. Yeah, I was originally thinking of making a whole separate video just for this. But honestly, it's not enough to stand on its own. So we're just gonna roll it right into this one big video. She's been running her mouth about Paige and this whole special whistle nonsense, man. You know exactly the kind of talk I'm talking about. It's already stirring up reactions. But before we get too deep into that drama, let's rewind for a second and hear what she had to say about DeWanna Bonner back in Phoenix.
There was maybe a little bit of beef because of our last podcast with how I mentioned that some people could handle
I wanted
situations.
To ask.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was because of what you said last week?
Hell yeah, 1,000%.
I saw that and was like, there's no way they're tussling and roughing each other up because Sophie said you were polite for the most. You just said it could have been handled differently, but I was like, oh, they're just old teammates kind of roughing each other up, and it was your old team. I was like, there's no way it's because of the podcast, but it sounds like it was.
Well, I do. I think that our teams don't really like each other anyway, just because of I don't know, just kind of her leaving. Some of those players used to be under our coaching staff, and so there's just a lot there. But yeah, I could have been way meaner, right? I told her she didn't listen to the whole clip. She just saw the thing about she could have handled it more professional, which honestly, right. Everyone that's talked to me besides their team has yeah, she could have. And so it's duh, but that team's just drama to me. I don't know, but I don't know. I went home and I started hitting some threes, and I was talking all shit. Oh god, it felt so good. I know we lost by 30, but I still got light off.
That right there was Sophie talking about the Phoenix Mercury. Now, here's the thing about Paige. Yeah, this is where it gets interesting. So listen to this.
I love Paige to death. Do not get me wrong. I think, I think she's a hell of a player and would love to play with her one day. But those refs were giving her every freaking whistle last night. You literally couldn't touch her. And that shit is so annoying to me. And if you're going to do that, then give it to our guards. I just hate the inconsistencies. Or we know she's a good rookie and she's going to get some whistles. But to get the treatment she got last night was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Calls.
Well, she's gonna be one of those players that she's already gonna be a GOAT. She's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Everyone knows that she's freaking hell of a player. But getting some of those whistles already, oh my, I couldn't.
Now I promise you. So for everybody out here saying it's not a UConn Mafia whistle, this right here is coming straight from Paige Bueckers herself. Y'all know I've been telling you for weeks what it really is with Paige and that UConn Mafia whistle. And now Sophie's basically gone on record, putting her stamp on it. Yeah, she's confirming in so many words that it's a UConn whistle, at least when it comes to Paige. What did I tell y'all? I'm actually glad she's speaking on this, because you know what? Now I've got the perfect context and the perfect content for another video where I can really break this down, dissect the plays, and show you exactly how it's a full-on UConn Blue Whistle situation. Yes, bro, it's a real thing. This whole league is strategic. Gino, he's like the grand wizard pulling all the strings, man. And right now, it's looking real spooky for the Fever. They're definitely holding back some info. The only thing they're being 100% honest about is that there's no timetable for when Caitlin's coming back.